Good morning and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, the Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I am your host, Doug Green. He is DJ Jarvis. Chris is off being a slacker somewhere. And my Dolphins are up 13-3 over DJ's Jags at the half. All right, so we're a man down this week. And maybe 3 men down because he's not looking real good and I'm pretty tired. So this ought to be a fun show. Yeah.
It was a rough night last night.
Yeah. All right. So
weddings. I have come to learn weddings hit a lot harder after you turn 30.
Yeah. Wait till you get 40, buddy. It gets worse from there. Because at some point you have to pay for the thing.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, I'm not quite to that point yet, but probably. We're close.
You're a lot closer than I am.
Yeah. I don't know about that. All right, so let's take a look at the quarterbacks for this week. Yes, there was some news this week. We'll touch on that as we go position by position. Nothing big enough to be here at the top. So we'll start with the quarterback rankings. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyle Murray.
Hey, Doug.
Hey.
Yeah, blew your halftime load much too early. The Jags just scored, and it's going to be 13-10 pending extra point.
Don't. Can't count on nothing. Those Jacksonville Yahoos will mess everything up. Friggin' Urban Meyer.
Something like that.
Alrighty. So we do have a light slate today, which will affect the rankings.
Yeah. So one of the things, we do from the people who follow us on a regular basis is anybody who's already played that we don't pop them on our rankings this week or, for the Sunday show. And then 6 teams are on a bye. So that's 10 teams not included in the rankings here. Right? Is that good math?
6 teams on a bye plus Thursday plus the blending game. Yes, that's 10. I was questioning it there for a second, but
me too, dude. I'm telling you, it's a rough morning so far.
Okay. So let me just start with my guy here. He's not in your top 12. They have been playing him conservatively. Where's Mr. Fields for you here?
He is on the next page.
Okay. I can't remember if quarterbacks go 1 page or 2 page. So
yeah, so he's 18. This is one of those circumstances where Heineke is matchup inflated, as is Darnold. So Darnold's had decent weeks, but those are guys traditionally I might not have had. Obviously, on this first page, they're but you also know Brady, no Hurts, so that kind of help guys get a little bit higher. Green Bay's actually been surprisingly very good fantasy wise against quarterbacks, allowing the 27th fewest points, or 27th fewest to be really good. 6th fewest points. So 27th in the league in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. So obviously Fields not the traditional quarterback, but it is a tough matchup for him.
Yeah. Let's take a look, see if I can pick through any of the rest of these. I might have Stafford a little bit higher, but maybe that game's going to be such a blowout early that they're going to go run game heavy in the second half. So I think that's about right.
I think top 9 wise, I think this was a very close week for guys. I'm a little soured on my boy Patty this week, so that's reflected in number 5, even though the Washington football teams allowed the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, but that's where that comes from. And Kyle Murray makes his first appearance on our rankings. I can't even blame that one on the hangover.
Kyle Murray joins the greats of Mike Gesicki
and Dalvin Coombe.
Yes. Him as well.
I'm
Typos, we wouldn't have a show.
That Arizona Cleveland game's very fantasy intriguing.
Yeah.
Arizona's been decent defensively, but Cleveland's put up a ton of points, as has Arizona, and this could just end up being just an absolute track meet. Same for that Kansas City Washington game. I think I'm willing. What's that?
I was going to say, now that you said that game's going to be 17-14, right?
Yeah, both of those games, like 3-0 games.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't so early in October, I'd be like, you just predicted snow, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, there was that game in Idaho that was like 12 inches of snow on Friday night. So
that's crazy.
I think another game. I think we have a lot of really fun quarterback matchups this week, and Allen and Lamar, or no, Allen and Tannehill will be decent, but Lamar and Herbert and Kyler Baker is not terrible, but Mahomes, Heineke, those we could have a lot of really high scoring games this week, which makes fantasy football a lot more fun.
Exactly. And then you've got the ever exciting Darnold and Cousins matchup down there at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, I think we could see a lot of high scoring games, which, like I said, makes football a lot more fun, in my opinion. But yeah. I'm also a fan of a team that doesn't play defense. So
yeah, we've noticed. All right, let's take a look at page 2 here. So we've got Teddy, Wentz going because he's got a crappy matchup. Carr, Goff, Fields. That one guy, Baker. Why you got Baker? We just talked about Baker, and then you got him at 20.
Arizona's defense has been good. So, I mean, he's startable in the 2 quarterback leagues, but I definitely wouldn't do him in 1 quarterback leagues, even though I'm pretty sure I'm starting him in a 1 quarterback league. The bottom of the rankings this week, awful rough.
Yes.
Like I said,
I guess we did have one major piece of news that Russell Wilson did injure that finger pretty grotesquely and is going to be out several weeks. So Geno Smith rises from the dead in true Halloween fashion.
I'm a little intrigued by Geno Smith. Not this week. Pittsburgh's got a pretty good defense, but I think, while Russell's out, I'm decently intrigued. Not like, Jordan Rangel having to start him as his only quarterback in 2 quarterback league and intrigued, but definitely intrigued. Daniel Jones, his ranking's a little hurt by playing the Rams, and 2 his head was a little hurty last week. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounced back from getting a concussion against a team that's going to make him run around the backfield a lot.
Geno didn't look terrible when he came out, or when he was out there initially, but then the wheels kind of came off at the end. I think the surprise factor kind of helped with that. Now, obviously, they're going to have some time to game plan for him going forward here. So we've got to see what he's going to look like. He may be a sneaky, decent play, considering he hasn't played in, I don't know, half a decade or something. But I'll be honest with you. He came off the sidelines to replace Russell, and I'm like, he's still in the league?
Right.
I'm surprised that he was still running around out there. So.
I think mine was when Mike Glennon came out for Daniel Jones last week. That was kind of a surprise there. I don't know if you were able to
Daniel Jones playing this week? I thought he was out.
I thought I saw that he was playing. He passed concussion protocol.
Okay, well, that's fine. I was thinking that
yeah, he was a full participant on Friday.
Okay, I was thinking that he was out along with Saquon, which made the whoever they were playing this week, their defense, the Rams defense, to be a good streaming matchup.
And no Kenny Galladay, so definitely Daniel Jones definitely got an uphill battle against.
Yeah,
it's the Rams.
Aaron Donald's going to eat his lunch. So
that was the other thing. I was intrigued by by Tony this week, and just thinking about the fact that he'll probably be covered by Ramsey, and so I think Shepard might be back, but it'll be interesting to see what they do pass catcher wise.
Yeah, because they've got a lot of pieces missing in there.
This could be one of those games where Daniel Jones doesn't do much through the air, but he gets some rushing stats, just basically having to run around a lot.
Probably, yeah. He's probably going to have to be out there running for his life. Who's the running back without Saquon in there?
Devontae Booker.
Okay, I'm assuming he's a page 3 guy.
Wait to jump the shot sheet there, Dougie. No, and I think from this sheet, obviously, Tannehill could jump into that top 12. Mm-hmm. Fields has potential there, but again, the Packers have been pretty good against quarterbacks. Again, and he's got other tools, obviously, to become a guy who can put up points because he can run the ball, he can pass the ball, stuff like that. But I'm really intrigued to see what Geno does. Said nobody ever, but you never know. Goff against Cincinnati is another intriguing matchup. Cincinnati's been really good against the pass, but Detroit's had those games where they've put up just a ton of late points, and I think that or early points. They've never put two halves together, but they've looked good. One half or another. If they could do that in the second half this week, that could be a winnable game because they can't. If they can put up the points to stick with Cincinnati.
Yeah, since I just feel like Cincinnati's got too many weapons, too many tools to work with there, and
definitely
just can't cover them all. So.
Right. So we'll take it to commercial, give Brian a little extra time today.
That works for me.
What do football fanatics in the Quad Cities love more than their Sunday football? Watching the Hawkeyes get taken down at home on Saturday. No, but also tailgating and partying before, during, and after their favorite football games, including watching.
And there went half of our viewership.
Including watching the Hawkeyes go down, on Saturday. Mobile Party Experience has a hookup for all your tailgating needs. Mobile Party Experience offers solutions for all types of party throwers and goers. They have towable trailers that offer music, TVs, gaming, private bathrooms with running water and flushable toilets, beverage dispensers, coolers, grills, and utensils, tables, chairs, and tents. They have all the amenities you could want or need to host a tailgate party or event. Find them at their website, my-mpx.com, or on Facebook at Mobile Party Experience. Sunday's still the best day at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. While your favorite jamokes aren't on the deck talking fantasy football, they're still one of the best places in the Quad Cities for your football viewing pleasures. Their back deck is ready to go for football season. The sides are up and the heat is on to protect you from Mother Nature, where you can enjoy the Bears, Packers, and any of your favorite out-of-market teams. Or today, you can enjoy the Bears versus the Packers. If outside isn't your thing, you can head on into their remodeled inside bar area and watch NFL Sunday Ticket on their numerous screens and play their adult video games. I hear they have the loosest slots in the Quad Cities. That's Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's Sake. Football season's just underway, and if you're spending Sundays watching football anywhere but Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, you've been doing it wrong. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport, is the best place to catch your favorite games, and there's still time to make it part of your Sunday routine. Start off your meal with their famous McGuire's Original Nachos or Bready Nuggets, then ask about one of their original QC-style pies. Or be your own quarterback and call an audible and create your own. The Vans crew will be sure that your call hits paydirt every time. Vans Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport. Come get
served. I didn't realize how rough you looked until your picture went bigger here on the screen.
Oh man, it's rough, dude. Rough.
Well, we have Brian here to save us now.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you this morning?
We're rough.
We've been better. We've been better.
Should I ask what the morning's like? That's not so great.
One too many Bush lattes were consumed last night on my part.
And I had some. I'm still tired. I'm still in bed.
Hopefully the games go well enough you won't feel it throughout the day.
Doug's not a morning guy.
No. All right, sir.
Brian, the classic question for me, I know it was in your article, so I'm going to make you pick a different one than the two you mentioned. So obviously we like Burrow, Chase, and you're a fan of Herbert and either Eckler or Allen if Williams is out, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Other than those two, what's your stack?
Other than those two, I don't mind Jack, and why not go cheaper with Cooper?
And then with that Chase and Burrow stack, are you going Swift or Raymond to bring that back, or are you just kind of leaving it alone?
You know, I've actually got Swift in my main lineup, but the one kind of after I did all my preparation for both writing for y'all and as well as other places, the names I think about actually is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Over the last 2 weeks, he's had 13 receptions for, I think, 135 yards. Hadn't scored yet, but with Quintus Cephas out this week, I could see him having a pretty good upside. Especially, he's sitting at $4,200 for his price tag, so I could see the value there.
So one of the stacks that I didn't have much time to play around with it this morning. I literally slept to the time that I normally start my preparation for Sunday mornings. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to mess with DraftKings, but I kind of was very intrigued with Mahomes and Kelsey. And then, to kind of get a break on my salaries, bringing it back with J.D. McKissick.
I could see that. Like you said, it's always tough when you're dealing with Mahomes, Kelsey, just because of the price tag. I'm trying to think if there's any other players that you can bring it back with. Not necessarily. I think McKissick's probably your best value there because Gibson's at 64 and McLaurin. The other one, actually, let me rephrase that. If you wanted to bring it back with something that's cheaper than McKissick, try Ricky Seals-Jones.
Oh yeah,
he's basically the wide receiver 2 right now.
Yeah, revenge game for Ricky Seals-Jones this week.
Yeah, he's sitting at 3,000. I wouldn't mind him.
Now I know you had touched on a couple of these guys early on, but since Chris wasn't able to make it today, he had asked about a couple of guys and your thoughts, and I know they were in your article, but talk a little bit more about Khalil Herbert. I know, with Damian Williams on the COVID list, what that might look like.
Yeah, no, the one thing about Khalil, he had 18 carries last week, and he split time with Williams, who had 16. Of course, there's always a cap. I don't know if that means he can go up to 22, 24. But my only concern with Herbert, I mean, at his price tag of $4,600, he's worth the play. I just wish he provided more receiving help because I was noticing that in college that he actually only had, I think, 34 receptions, 46 career games. Didn't he play a little bit at Kansas?
Yeah.
With Pookie Williams or something like that. So that's my only concern is, he really needs that touchdown to max out because you always want to at least double your points. So if you're thinking about just rushing yards, you'd have to get 92 rushing yards, and he's capable of that. But I just wish he gave us either a touchdown or something at the backfield. But 4,600 gives you a lot of flexibility elsewhere.
So with tight end, are you kind of avoiding Kelsey Waller because there's so many other good tight ends that are really low priced? I'm looking at Andrews at 52 and then Dalton Schultz at 49. That gives you a lot of flexibility other places.
I actually love Andrews this week. Schultz has got a tougher matchup. So to me, you don't have to. Actually, I kind of thought Kelsey might be a little bit more than seven even. So I wouldn't avoid him. But definitely, if you want to go contrarian to a little bit, go with Andrews. And if you want to go even cheaper, like I mentioned, Sills Jones is good at 3. And even though Jared Cook has an every other week where he basically does nothing, I could see this being a big week for him. And he's at 3,200. So,
what are your thoughts on? Oh, well, do you have something, Doug?
Oh, I was just going to jump a little bit further down the list and ask about Tony.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Kadarius Toney has been a guy who's really kind of come on strong here in the last couple of weeks after not looking like much here early on. What do you think about the play for him today? Do you think he's a guy who you're are willing to roll the dice on because of the low price tag, or is he a guy that you're thinking that you know it was a couple of week fluke?
I don't think his weeks were fluky. He's sitting at 58, I think, off the top of my head. Now, my question mark, to me, he's earned a big role. But I know for sure Sterling Shepard's back today. And I think Darius Slayton's back today. And the Rams' defense isn't easy. So there are a couple other guys at the right around the same price tag I'd rather have. But I wouldn't necessarily fade Tony if you're a fan of his. I mean, Brandon Cooks is another one. I had to kind of berate him last week because of the matchup. But this week, he's sitting the same price as Tony pretty much. I think it may be identical. I'd rather have Brandon Cooks as an example.
I know his ownership will probably be pretty high, but what are your thoughts with Kareem Hunt this week? He's sitting at 62.
I actually love Cook this week, but even the coach came out today that he said, quote unquote, he's got a certain number of touches in mind. And
right.
the one thing about Hunt last year, I had him in one of my redraft leagues, and I thought, well, Chubb's out, Hunt's going to just dominate. And in all fairness, he did fine. He just didn't provide the level of production that's, I was hurting in running backs. I was hoping he'd be like an RB1 type, but he just didn't get that big of a step up. So I still like him, but I like Darrell Henderson at 6,000 a little bit more than Hunt this week.
Is there, I know this is the unpopular conversation, but I think a lot of times when I'm setting my lineup, I'm thinking about who I'm going to play at that defense spot. Is there a team that you said, this is definitely a good go this week?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to pick on rookie quarterbacks. I do another show, and I got a lot of grief about it because one of the guys that co-hosts with me is a Patriots fan, but I actually like the Cowboys this week at 32. They've been really good, especially in regards to turnovers.
Yeah.
And so they would be my play at 3,200.
Chris has in his list that he sent us the Giants at 2,400 looking like a good play just because Derek Carr's kind of looked not so great last week. Was that somebody that you'd be willing to try out too?
Now, was that the Giants defense we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're playing the Cowboys, aren't they?
Patriots, Cowboys.
Yeah, he's got the Giants playing the Raiders.
The Giants play the Rams.
Giants play the Rams, and the Raiders play the Broncos, I believe, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't mind. Actually, I think that whole game between the Raiders and Broncos could be a relatively low scoring game. So I don't mind the Raiders defense there. That's the one thing about defense. You've always got to just pick a spot, and the cheaper the better because you want value elsewhere. So.
Do you kind of view this as a game, and this is more of a question all along, not DFS necessarily, but is it a game where kind of Joe Mixon gets all of the running back touches in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, he was nicked last week, and only saw off the top of my head it was only like 22% of the snaps, but he still had it may have been 28%. Either way, it was below 30, but he still had 11 touches in that. And Piron's out this week due to COVID restrictions.
Yeah,
so the only touches that he won't see, maybe a few out of the backfield to Chris Evans. But if he's capable of doing 20 total touches or more, he'll get those. But they could also turn to the air a little bit more too, because it's just one of those things. But yeah, I like Mixon definitely for the backfield touches.
So you're not too concerned with Captain America stealing his touches. That was for you, Doug.
Thank you.
And I apologize. You're not boring me, Brian. I'm just really tired.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I've been told by my wife I'm boring, so it doesn't bother me.
So,
and then one of the other ones that Chris has on the sheet here was Sam Darnold. How do you feel about him against the Minnesota defense this week?
I'll be honest with you. Right now, at the beginning of the season, I was fairly high on Darnold. Last couple of weeks, I'm not sure I like Sam Darnold against any matchup. I'd rather stick away. Of course, as soon as I say that, he'll go for 304. But that's life. Sometimes I'm not on the Darnold bandwagon right this second.
he got into kind of a position where you were kind of dependent on him rushing for a touchdown to score points. So, and when it was working, it was good, but.
Yeah, you don't want to depend on your quarterback necessarily to get your touchdown rushes every week. Eventually, that's got to go away.
Unless it's
but keep that in mind that McCaffrey's as of yesterday was on the 3-week short-term IR. So unless Chuba gets him, somebody else could get him. But like I said, I don't want to depend on a rushing touchdown from a quarterback necessarily.
Right.
And definitely not want to depend on yardage from rushing. So.
And then in your column this week, you had Aaron Rodgers as a cold play this week, which warmed my heart. What was it about the Rodgers matchup with the Bears that you didn't like this week?
Well, the Bears actually only give up the fifth fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks, so that's a tough matchup. But then along with that, you got Joe Burrow with basically I think he's got one more touchdown than Rodgers on the year. He's sitting at $1,000 less than Rodgers with almost identical stats. I think some of that 7,300 is really name more than anything, and so it's more of a price tag play and a tough defense. I would rather fade Rodgers this week.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm always down for fading Rodgers just because.
Well, that's the worst. That's the thing. I mean, some people get so enamored by names, and he threw I think it was it was either 48 or 50 touchdowns last year, and I wrote articles all summer long that he was so efficient last year. He's going to have some kind.
Yeah, he's going to have to take a step back. 50's a hard pace to keep up over there, just because you're going to have to slow down at some point.
I'm sorry, guys. I broke out there just momentarily.
That's okay. We covered for you.
He was agreeing with you on the regression on Rodgers' behalf.
Yeah,
it just had to happen
to keep at to repeat.
He was just so efficient. So.
Yeah. But now he's got his boy Randall Cobb back. That makes all the difference in the world.
Exactly.
Evidently woke up on the bitter side of the bed today. Deej, you got anything else?
Are you staying away from the running back situation in Kansas City with no CEH?
You know what? I don't mind Darrell Williams at all, but I'm trying to think. I heard some negative factors about him yesterday. Honestly, I like Darrell Williams just fine. But the other thing that DraftKings did a really good job of this week, and they usually do a good job anyway, was the pricing. They put him right at 5,800, and for six you can go Darrell Henderson. Right. 61 you can go Swift. So no, I'll be honest. I think he'll do a very fine job filling in for CEH. Maybe do some. He'll be out at least 3 games. I wouldn't be surprised if Williams has as good, if not better, the same stats that CEH would put up.
Well, as long as less fumbles, we'll be on his good side.
Well, exactly. I know we're all Chiefs homers here, but yeah, I don't mind Darrell Williams at all. He kind of showed in the playoffs last year he could do just fine without him. So,
Kadarius Toney is officially active for today. So no Saquon, no Galladay, no Darius Slayton. And
that, if y'all don't mind, I'd like to throw out something I do on another site. I have what's called bumps and bruises. That if you check out my Twitter handle, Vandegrad92. I always update that. It's always available on Saturdays and leading up to the weekend. So if you ever have questions about injuries, please check that article out. It's very up to date. I keep a hold of all the RotoWire practice reports and all that. So that could be something you could supplement your DFS lineup with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we start.
You can go ahead and plug that site if you want. That's fine.
Okay, the actual site itself is fantasyaffair.com. It was my original website that I ever wrote with. I had a kidney transplant last August, on August 11th, 2020, and in week 5 of the season, Matty Daddy, who's the founder of that, was looking for content providers, and I reached out to him and said, I've never done it, but I've been on Twitter all the time trying to find myself a kidney. I'd like to try this. And he said, sure, jump on. So.
Well, Brian, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we'll definitely, me personally, will be on the lookout. For those articles with me starting a new job. I don't get to troll Twitter as much as I used to, so I'll be looking out to grab those injury reports from you.
That sounds great. It should be rather easy to access. Y'all have a great day and good luck with all your games.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks. Take care.
With 5 locations within the Quad Cities area, Ray's Barbershop has provided first-class service, haircutting, and shaves since 2010. Ray's Barbershop has been voted the Quad Cities' favorite barbershop year after year. Ray's takes tremendous pride in their work and in maintaining the fine art of classic meets modern barbering. Ray's goes above and beyond to make sure our clients' level of satisfaction is met. You won't find the Ray's experience anywhere else. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad Cities' best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing those out-of-market games? You'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Draft House while watching the noon games, and then head on over across the Moline Rock Island border to the corner tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the corner with $3 tall boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the corner tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone.
You good now?
I'm good. Well, I'm not good, but we're good.
Ooh, we got interesting stuff here at the top of the list. I don't know if we've ever seen Austin Eckler as your number 1 guy before.
Today's a new day, Doug.
I guess so. Jeez. McCaffrey's out, so we don't have to worry about him at 8.
Buffalo's defense is – oh, I thought I fixed that this morning. I apologize. I got Chubb on out of there. I got the London guys on out of there, but Christian McCaffrey peeked his ugly little head.
It's okay. Zeke, Najee, Jones. Yeah.
What happened?
You minimized that screen. There you go. Gibson, Cook, Joe Mixon. I don't really have any problems with any of these. Dalvin hasn't played in a little bit. What's kind of your expectations on Dalvin today?
I think that we've seen in the past that they don't really run Dalvin out there until they think Dalvin's ready for Dalvin to play. Mm-hmm. And so I think that unless he was at or near 100%, they weren't going to march him out there. And he gives you so many different options, catching the ball out of the backfield, running the ball well, that he's an RB1 option anytime he's actually on the field, in my opinion.
That's fair, yes.
I think one of the guys I was kind of nervous about putting in this top 12 was Antonio Gibson, just based on the fact that I think that they're going to give McKissick a lot of run, especially with the Chiefs' inability to cover running backs out of the backfield. But I know like in the past, Rivera said he kind of wants to use Gibson as a CMC type back, but Gibson gets all 100% of the snaps, and they've used McKissick. They've used, other guys who are there.
Yeah. Not only did you put McCaffrey on the list, you spelled his name wrong.
I did.
You did. That's not how you spell Christian. Look at that.
I originally had Hunt on that first page, and then when they came out and said that he might not get his full, as many touches as Chubb does, I kind of wonder what kind of damage Felton and Darnell Johnson are gonna take away. Are they gonna take the normal Hunt touches? Do they take the normal Chubb touches? Where does that fall in?
Yeah. Felton, when they were playing the Bears, he was the guy who really kind of caught my eye there. I went out on a couple of leagues and picked him up just because he had a couple of really good catches down the sideline.
Oh, Felton?
Yeah. I think he's like one of those kind of like Tariq Cohen kind of do-it-all kind of back kind of guys. A little bit on the smaller side, but catches a lot of passes. He's not going to be a guy who runs it up in between the tackles on 3rd and 1, but he's going to be, one of those gadget guys there. So,
yeah, he kind of looked like in that game that he was going to take kind of that Jarvis Landry role, even as a running back, and obviously that didn't really come to fruition. But I know that he was like one of the most in-demand waiver wire guys after that Bears game.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I went out and picked him up in a couple of leagues there as well. Got you Darrell Williams there at 15, Chase Edmonds at 16. I don't know what to do with Chase Edmonds. I don't think I'd have him anywhere, but he's that guy I just kind of avoid because I just don't know what to do with him. I don't know if James Conner is going to eat into his touches. I don't really know if he's good enough to really kind of carry that running back one role there in Arizona. So he's a guy I just pretty much just kind of just don't mess with.
Yeah, it's always one of those things where when I get to the point where he's in that area of what I can afford in the DFS lineups, I always say, and do I really want to take Chase Edmonds? He's RB 29 so far this year, and then James Conner's RB 17. But there's so much insistence on the fact that Chase Edmonds is RB1 there. And I think a lot of it just comes from which one of them gets into the end zone, and that's been Conner.
Yeah. Yeah, their usage there is so kind of weird that I don't know kind of what to do. Like it's the New England effect of you don't know kind of which one's going to be kind of the guy week to week, so you just kind of just ignore the whole situation.
Additionally, and we haven't addressed this point is even with when we were talking Kyler in that game in the quarterback segment, is Cliff Kingsbury's got the COVID, and
I saw that
he plays there.
Yeah, and I guess he's mad about it. Like he's had like 4 tests in like 24 hours trying to prove that he doesn't have it.
Yeah,
and everyone keeps coming back positive. So
yeah, he's like 2 negative tests and within 48 hours or something like that to be cleared.
Yeah, but too late now. He's not going to do that, so he's going to be out. The other big piece of news in the running back world, just because it was the Thursday night game, Seahawks took a beating Thursday. Also not going to have Chris Carson for a couple of weeks. I think they put him on that 3-week IR as well. So Alex Collins is going to be the play there. So we'll have to see how if he was going to play, if this wasn't a Thursday night play, where would you have put Alex Collins here?
They didn't play Thursday. I think they're on a bye.
Well, either way, he's not playing this week. Where would you put him?
They're not on a bye. He is playing this week. Collins is playing this week.
Is he on page 3?
He is.
There he is. Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, I was a big fan of Collins when he immediately when Carson first went down, and just ahead of that Thursday game against the Rams, and so I had added him and told other people to add him. So Cleveland or Seattle likes to give their backs their touches, and with Russell Wilson out, they're going to protect Geno a little bit more. So maybe they give some touches to Travis Homer, but I'd like to see what Collins can do, with that amount of touches.
Yeah, me too. He hasn't done like a ton. Oh yeah, it was Tampa Bay, Philly, Thursday night. He hasn't done a ton in his career. He's had flashes, but he hasn't like done it for like weeks at a time. So we're gonna have to see where he falls.
Before we go on to that last page, I want to know, as a Bears fan, what are your thoughts on Herbert?
I'm kind of holding my breath this week. I think you're going to see him kind of sprinkled throughout, but I don't think you're going to see a ton of him. He might get 20 touches, but they're going to be sporadic.
Who's going to be RB2 there?
No idea. Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some of that. I think you're going to see a lot more reverses and design quarterback runs to kind of offset that, and then the short passing game, those short screen games to kind of offset that loss in the running game there. So I don't anticipate a big workload for Mr. Herbert.
This page gets very ugly. Like with 10 teams we talked about, 10 teams being not, listed on the rankings. A lot of these guys are handcuffs, backups, stuff like that. Guys, you're kind of hoping get into the end zone.
I thought Tony Pollard was getting more of a role with Dallas. Now,
all of a sudden, it just kind of
just went away. Yeah. Naeem Hines, Lap Murray, Madison. If Dalvin's not playing, Madison's not really a thing.
Right.
Connor, Collins, AJ Dillon, McKinnon. Is that Jarek? Wait, that's Jarek McKissick. I was just going to say.
No, it's Jarek McKinnon.
So then McKissick that you were talking about earlier.
He's here. And I think he's a viable flex option, I think.
Okay. There's too many McKays.
Right.
With Washington designations that got me messed up there. All right, back to page 3. Yeah, page 3 is ugly. There's not a lot going this year. Like you said, you're hoping for a touchdown. You're hoping for something.
Yeah, and I think you realize that a lot of times. I mean, obviously people started, Sanders, Fournette, James Robinson, Myles Gaskin, guys like that. So hopefully you're not in this position where you have to. The only guy that I 100% am starting on this list is Collins, if he's your RB2. Just because of touches, he's got a tough matchup against Pittsburgh. So,
yeah, can we talk about friggin' Miles Sanders for a minute? To draft him, you had to get him early on, and he hasn't done diddly poo this season. Nothing that makes you definitely say that he's been worth his draft equity to get him. What are you doing with him? Because I'm to the point now where I'm like, I don't really kind of want to start him, but I don't know what else to do with him.
Right.
You can't trade him.
I'm hoping in the 10 days that they have off, they do more than just trade Zach Ertz. I'm hoping that they figure out their game planning, because the whole thing was messed up. He had 1 carry Thursday night, and then Wendell Smallwood didn't have much involvement either.
He hasn't had, but Sanders hasn't had like a ton of traction the whole year. I'd have to look at the numbers, but I want to say that while he's still the leading rusher, like he's getting like minimal carries and like a couple of passes a game. Like it's like they're pretty much pulling it all on Hurts and letting him just throw it. Which I don't know if I'm crazy about all that, but here we are.
Yeah, it's been very frustrating. I also roster Sanders in one league, and to see him putting up 5 points a game is very frustrating.
Yeah. It is ugly out there. All right, so that'll take us to the end of the running back segment. We'll go ahead, hit the commercials, and then we will go ahead and talk wideouts.
Bad Boys Pizza isn't hard to find. Now serving in 3 different locations: Moline, Davenport, and downtown Davenport at River Music Experience. Their restaurant and bar stays open late, not only on the weekends, but the weekdays too. Bad Boy specializes in Quad City style pizza and daily specials, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. They also offer food carryout and pizza delivery options at your convenience. They have a full bar at all 3 locations with 24 taps in Moline, 32 taps in Davenport, and 20 in downtown Davenport. They also host exciting events such as Quad City Storm parties, NFL Sunday ticket giveaways, and other sports viewing parties. Bad Boys always has the coldest beer, and the atmosphere is always welcoming. For great people, drinks, and Quad City style pizza, choose Bad Boys. Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. With 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all your home improvement projects. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. It's Sunday Fun Day over at Frick's Tap. Iowa's second oldest bar is guaranteed to have your favorite team on one of their 13 TV screens with NFL Sunday ticket. Get on into Frick's now, where they'll be joined by Smoked Out Smokehouse every Sunday. And boy, does that menu look great. Barbecue smoked ribs, pork chops, wings, you name it. You can get it during your football game over at Frick's. So for Frick's sake, head into Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, Davenport.
While you were running the commercials, I looked up Miles Sanders' numbers. Week by week, his rushing attempts have went 15, 13, 2, 7, 11, and 9.
Jesus.
He hasn't had – his best week was week 1, where he had 15 carries for 74 yards, 4 catches for 39 yards. Since then, he hasn't had over 55 yards on the ground and hasn't caught more than – well, last week he had 5 balls. Other than that, though, he hasn't had more than 3 catches. And no touchdowns on the season.
I also I think he's averaging like 6.9 points in PPR through 5 weeks, and then this week wasn't great either. So
yeah, not great, Bob. All right, wideouts. Adams, Cooper Kupp. Never thought I'd see the day that Cooper Kupp was going to be that high, but here we are. Diggs, Reek, McLaurin, Moore, JJ, Nuke, Deontay, Mike Williams.
And like Brian said, Michael Williams is a little nicked up, so you want to pay attention to that. I think they play. Do they play tonight?
I think they might be the night game. Let me look. No.
Nope, they play at noon. So, yeah, we should know here at about the top of the hour what Williams' status is going to be. If he plays, obviously, you're firing up. And I think this is really where this year's progressed. Because if you would have told me 6 weeks ago that week 6 – I would be putting Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and Mike Williams all on this first page, I'd be like, yeah, Kupp makes sense, but the other two, meh. And Deontay Johnson, I guess.
Yeah, those are kind of the surprising names. Like I like Mike Williams coming out. It's just taking him a long time to get to this point.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris would be falling on his face to see Jamar Chase here, and he would insist to all of us that, well, if he doesn't catch a touchdown, he's not going to score these points. But the dude just doesn't quit scoring.
And it is time for my dog to lose her mind. She does this once a week, I swear.
And I don't know how much Bengals you've been able to watch, but what have been your thoughts on that passing game?
On who? Bengals passing game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've looked pretty good, actually. Burrow and Chase have been everything as advertised. It's been the other two guys that have been kind of trading off receptions in there. So I'd say, those two, the Burrow Chase stack is where you want to live. But I don't have any problem if you're rolling out Boyd or Higgins.
I know you always project this happening because I have ADD and can't pay attention to one thing at a time. Trevor Lawrence fumbled, and then the very next play, Tua threw a pick.
Of course.
Which is only the Jaguars' second takeaway so far this season.
Oh, and look at them all. They're also very excited. It's like kids at Halloween. Just open the door and let them run.
What are I know how you feel about the guy throwing him the ball, but what are your feelings towards Deontay Johnson?
Okay. Not like, I don't know. I feel like 11's a little high, but without Juju, I guess that's somebody's going to have to pick up those catches. I guess I like a Claypool a little bit more, but I mean he's fine. I think I got him in a couple of weeks.
I think even with when Juju was healthy and playing, I think Deontay Johnson's an elite PPR option.
Ooh, elite. What makes him elite?
I just think the targets every week. I just Big Ben loves him, and I think that if you're getting a wide receiver who's seen the kind of targets, and I'm going to pull up the actual numbers, but when you see a guy who's getting the type of targets that Deontay Johnson gets on a week-to-week basis, and he's doing things with them, so it's not like he's catching the ball falling down. I mean, he's got 3 touchdowns on the season. So last week was his only week under 10 targets. So he's played in 4 games. Week 1 against Buffalo, he saw 10 targets, and he did only catch 5 of them for 36 yards, but he scored. Week 2 against Las Vegas, 12 targets, 9 catches, 105 yards. Then against Green Bay, 13 targets, 9 for 92 and a score. And then last week he only had 2 targets, but it was 2 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. So he's like the anti-Jamar Chase, where he's getting targets and not just super touchdown dependent.
Yeah. So, like I said, I like him, don't love him, I guess is where he would fall on the scale for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's on page 2. DK Metcalf, yeah, I suppose him and what's his face? Lockett going to take a step back with Geno at the controls up there. Sutton, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, Claypool, Bobby Trees, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Man, I hate seeing Allen Robinson making his way onto page 3 if he even shows up there.
Yeah, let's talk about that here, Doug.
He's another guy. He's like Sanders that you can't. What do you do with him? You don't really want to start him. He hasn't proven the starter for the draftable equity, and then you can't trade him because he doesn't have the value. So you're just kind of like stuck with him. And even me this week, I was like, all right, buddy, you're gonna go to the pine until I see something out of you, which that's hard for me to do, man.
So week 1 with Dalton at quarterback, he saw 11 targets. With Fields, it was 4 against Cincinnati, 6 against Cleveland, 3 against Detroit, and 5 against the Raiders.
Mhm.
And he only has 1 touchdown. I don't know that I think that cutting him is an overreaction.
Mhm.
Sending him to the waiver wire, overreaction. However, benching him, completely relevant reaction.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do until he does something. Unless he's got a super advantageous matchup against a rookie corner that, has basically been on skates all year, then I have a hard time starting him against any type of competent NFL cornerback because it's just been rough. And like you said, Fields is looking towards Mooney's way. That's really kind of been his connection. So, Robinson's really kind of shifted around in kind of that wide receiver 2 area. They'll still go to him on critical third downs. So if you're playing in a points per first down league, some type of Scott Fish craziness, then he might still be worth a start to you. But in a standard PPR, just straight up points,
Yeah.
I'm really having a hard time pulling the trigger there. Thielen, Jacoby Myers, Manny Sanders, Kadarius Toney, Beckham, Tim Patrick, there's Mooney, Renfro, Rondale Moore. All right, so other big news this week. We're going to talk more on the Ertz side when we hit tight ends. But a lot of the memes that I saw this week were basically Rondale Moore is going to be the guy who's most affected by Ertz landing in Arizona. Do you feel that those Undertaker memes are not true, or do you feel there's some validity there?
I think it's more of AJ Green is the odd man out because I do think they like Moore and they like Kirk and they obviously like Hopkins. He's probably, while he doesn't appear on these slides at those positions, he's probably like 1 or 2 in my mind the best receivers in the league. So yeah, I think it's more of an AJ Green that sees a hit. But how can you not say it's Max Williams?
Yeah.
No, but I was just thinking about this oddly enough a couple days ago before the trade happened. It'd be sure nice if Arizona had a tight end option, and here they are now with Ertz, and I think he would have played if he could have today.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought on that one.
Yes.
And Renfro, I think, again, like we said with running backs, we're down 10 teams this week. So some of these guys, in the rankings, we're down 10 teams, obviously. Philly, Tampa Bay played, so you were starting, Devontae Smith, Evans, AB, guys like that. And then this one game, you were starting guys. But if we live in a life where you can't live in a world you can't start those guys, these guys are definitely flex options.
Yeah. As we get into the bye week gauntlet here, decisions have to be made, and sometimes they're ugly decisions, but you do what you got to do.
So, and I do want to say that with us touching on that is Phil does a great job on our website with streamers, and if you're in a bad buy situation, make sure you check him out. I think his drops on Wednesdays, Tuesdays. So yeah, definitely check those out if you're in a bye week situation.
Yeah, Phil and Nick both run Tuesday. So make sure you.
Yeah, and Nick does a great job with waiver wire guys. So yeah, make sure you're checking them out every week, and then obviously the Monday Night Hammer tomorrow night.
Yes. I was going to ask about somebody before we left because I don't remember seeing him. Who was it? Oh, Julio. Because Julio is supposed to play tomorrow night. I saw. Where would you place him on this list of 30?
He probably would have made that 20 to 24 range. He was, when I did the rankings earlier this week, he was still on the fringe.
Yeah.
Obviously, like as was CMC, and obviously they both went two different ways in that thing. So
It's the way life goes, buddy.
So we're gonna go to commercial. When we get back, we'll talk tight ends, and we'll do. So when we get back, we'll go inactives, and then
Okay.
We'll go with get to tight ends. With 5 locations within the Quad Cities area, Ray's Barbershop has provided first-class service, haircutting, and shave since 2010. Ray's Barbershop has been voted the Quad Cities' favorite barbershop year after year. They take tremendous pride in their work and in maintaining the fine art of classic meets modern barbering. Ray's goes above and beyond to make sure our clients' level of satisfaction is met. You won't find the Ray's experience anywhere else. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clinch Draft House Pizza and Grill is home to the Quad Cities' best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday.
What if I told you about it?
And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street, Moline. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad?
Other internet providers not flexible enough? Well, things have changed. Suddenly,
Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Draft House while watching the noon games, then head on over across the Moline Rock Island border to the corner tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the corner with $3 Tall Boys, Bloody Marys, and Jack Daniels and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the corner tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone.
Woo. And as you were doing that, I'm looking through my lines to make sure I got all of the injured players out. And of course, I had Josh Lambo because I play in a league with a kicker for some reason. And of course, he did not kick today in London.
So inactives. The Chiefs are going to again be without Chris Jones. I know that's not fantasy relevant, but it makes me want to pull my hair out. The Washington football team, again, no Curtis Samuel, and Jay Sternberger, who they recently acquired, is out. For the Rams, nobody fantasy relevant, but Brad Hopkins, Moline resident or Moline alumni, his son Bryson Hopkins not playing. As we touched on with the Giants earlier, no Saquon, no Kenny Galladay, and no Darius Slayton. I will say, I will take a break there. I do think it's very interesting, especially with how bad that injury looked, that Saquon did not find his way on the injured reserve. Doug says yes.
Yes, Doug and Chris agreed with me too, by the way.
The Texans, no Danny Amendola, no Brevin Jordan. The Colts, nobody fantasy relevant out. Jordan Wilkins, if you really, really like your deep dive guys. The Bengals, like the New Orleans Saints, are without Mike Thomas. The Packers, no Kevin King. The Bears, no Nick Foles, no Rashad Perriman, no JP Holtz, no Artie Burns. Don't know if that's relevant. Doug would tell me. For the Chargers, this is a surprise. I'm not sure if he got hurt last week, but no Larry Roundtree. He'd been their kick returner and their backup. For the Ravens, no Sammy Watkins. This makes me frustrated, but again, Tyson Williams inactive for the Ravens.
Is he hurt? What's their problem?
They'd rather play with Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell, apparently. Nobody big for the Vikings. No Kellen Mond, Amir Smith, Marset. Panthers, no Shaq Thompson. And no Spencer Brown. And that's it for the noon games again. Make sure you check NFL.com if you got anybody questionable for the Arizona game, any of those type of people, because you want to make sure that if they are hurt, you get them out of your lineup. And for those watching us and not the actual football game, the Dolphins have now taken a 20-17 lead with a touchdown from Tua to Jalen Waddle.
I just saw that come through on my screen. Tight ends. Surprise, Kelsey's up top. Waller, Hawk. Andrews, Dawson Knox, Grant, Schultz, Higbee, Ricky Seals-Jones, Jared Cook, and Evan Ingram. You know it's a rough week out there when Evan Ingram makes an appearance.
I think it could be a decent week for Ingram, actually, but I've been thinking that for the entire year. So,
what do you know?
I think
to see Dawson Knox up that high, but he actually has been playing well. Has been getting a lot of looks. So
dude's been insane, and it hasn't just been because he played the Chiefs last week. They mentioned on the game about how him and Josh Allen are like super close, and so week 1 only 4 catches for 41 yards, and then week 2 2 for 17, but he scored, and then he went 4 for 49 and a touchdown, 5 for 37 and 2, and then 3 for 117 and 1 last week against the Chiefs. And if he's gonna keep getting into the end zone, obviously that's kind of your goal with the tight end is guys who are going to score. If you're not starting one of those first 3 or 4 guys.
We're going to score. Yes, I just dropped into a Beavis and Butthead. I regressed back to when I was 18.
I think an interesting start this week, he might be on your free agent wire, is Ricky Seals-Jones. He had a pretty decent week last week in relief for Logan Thomas, who got hurt. Got 5 balls for 41 yards, but he had 9 targets in his first start there. And this is a revenge game for him, former Kansas City Chief Ricky Seals-Jones.
He's been former everybody. I think he's been on just about every NFL team.
He has been on quite a few. Arizona, Cleveland, Kansas City, and now the Washington Football Giants. That's how that goes, right?
Washington football nonsense. Yes, that is exactly.
And I meant to ask, Chris had this on his thing, and I meant to ask Brian about his thoughts with Hunter Henry, but just keeps finding his way on my rankings, and I just need him. I thought he was a really good player when he was in Los Angeles. He could just never stay healthy, and he's got 2 consecutive weeks with a touchdown.
Yeah. He's somebody that if you're doing DFS, he's worth a shot.
Apparently, I wanted to go back to wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by Hunter Henry this week. And like I said, Ricky Seals-Jones, another guy that I'm looking at not only season long, but DFS wise, because like Brian said when he was on here, super cheap, both of those guys.
See if there's anybody else before we wrap up with the games here before we take the break and head to the other side. Oh, we got to the tight ends. We didn't even friggin' talk about Ertz. So Ertz went to Arizona. Obviously, he's going to be. We touched on it a bit on the Moore side there, but what do you feel like is going to be his kind of role going forward, and what's kind of the expectation for Ertz in Arizona?
I think you'll definitely see him on this list more often than not. I think part of the reason why it was rare to see him on this list was Dallas Goedert, who was tight end 12 through 5 games. Max Williams, who'd been playing, that number one tight end position for Arizona, had averaged like 6.9 points per game. And so I'll be interested to see how they use him this week. Obviously, they're going to start installing some different things because of Ertz's abilities. Week 4 against the Rams, Williams was 5 for 66 and a touchdown, and then he had against Minnesota 7 for 94 game. So, I mean, I expect Ertz. Obviously, their game plan will be a little different with a tight end with his abilities. But you're also going to have to be ready, as per with most tight ends. You're going to have to put up with games where he just puts up clunkers.
Yeah. All right. So that'll take us to the end of this segment. On the other side of this, make sure you get your questions in. We need to, so that we can answer those for you. So this is your last call for those. I was supposed to be calling for those earlier, but I have been doing a crappy job at hosting this whole thing today and the last couple of weeks. And then we will do the rapid fires and all the other usual nonsense that come with the last 15 minutes of this show.
Can we not refer to it as last call, Doug? I'm having nightmares.
Sorry, buddy. You're going to have to. No, it's going to be last call.
Bad Boys Pizza isn't hard to find. Now serving in 3 different locations, Moline, Davenport, and downtown Davenport at River Music Experience. Their restaurant and bar stays open late, not only on the weekends, but weekdays too. Bad Boys specializes in Quad City style pizza and daily specials, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. They also offer food carryout and pizza delivery options at your convenience. They have a full bar at all 3 locations with 24 taps in Moline, 32 taps in Davenport, and 20 taps in downtown Davenport. They also host exciting events such as Quad City Storm parties, NFL Sunday ticket giveaways, and other sports viewing parties. Bad Boys always has the coldest beer, and the atmosphere is always welcoming. For great people, drinks, and Quad City style pizza, choose Bad Boys. It's Sunday Fun Day over at Frick's Tap. Iowa's second oldest bar is guaranteed to have your favorite team on one of their 13 TV screens with NFL Sunday ticket. Get on into Frick's now, where they will be joined by Smoked Out Smokehouse every Sunday. And boy, does that menu look great. Barbecue smoked ribs, pork chops, wings, you name it, you can get it during your football game over at Frick's. So for Frick's sake, head into Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, Davenport.
Frick's. All right. So let's take a look at the questions for this week. First up is Michael Slider, picking 3. Jefferson, Boyd, Ruggs, Myers, or Brown?
Jefferson, Boyd, and Brown.
I'm going to go Jefferson, Boyd, and Myers. Gunner wants to know Thielen or Tony. At least he didn't ask me to trade him Justin Fields this week. Trade him Justin Fields. There we go. Thielen, as much as I hate that yellow glove wearing nincompoop.
Yeah, Thielen for me as well.
All right, Jake Scudder, pick 1 for his flex spot. OBJ, Damian Harris, J.D. McKissick, Money, who I'm going to assume, Mooney or Tony?
Tony.
I'm going to go Mooney. I want to say if the Bears are going to hang with the Packers today, then Fields is going to have to throw it, and Mooney's been his guy. So I'm going to take Money Mooney there. And Jordan does not like my lack of Thielen love. All right. Jake also wants to know for his flex, Claypool or Moss.
Claypool.
I was gonna say if it's Randy Moss, go that way. Otherwise, Claypool. Cousin Bo wants to know Cousins or Mayfield.
Gross. Cousins.
I'm gonna take Gross. Yeah, I'm gonna take Cousins there too. Good. All right. Everybody's favorite pick a flex in the TD heavy league. Chuba, Booker, or Pittman. I don't remember seeing Chuba on your.
He was not because CMC was. So I would have ranked him below Booker. So I would take Booker, especially in TD heavy.
I'm taking Chuba here as long as he is the man in Carolina. Run that horse as long as you can. And then otherwise, we have Damian Harris or McKissick.
McKissick.
Harris, just because I like to argue with you. And then Jordan has his usual stack of questions. Javante or Singletary?
Javante.
Yeah, I agree. Adam Humphries or Jerick McKinnon?
McKinnon.
Pick 2 of OBJ, Beasley, or Hines.
First 2.
Agree. Singletary, Hines, or McKinnon.
Singletary.
All right, I need Chris back because I can't be agreeing with you this much. Deontay or Chase?
Chase.
What'd you say?
Chase.
Oh, God. Khalil, don't call me Mac. Herbert or Javante?
Javante.
This isn't good. This is not good. Pick 1 running back and 1 flex. Khalil Herbert, Damian Williams, MG3, Tony, or Myers.
Herbert and Tony. Herbert and Myers.
Williams, Myers.
Williams isn't playing.
MG3 and Myers.
Jordan, if that's Daryl and I misread or you mistyped, I'm starting Daryl.
And then pick 3 of Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Deontay, and Chase because he felt like flexing there.
Take out Deontay.
All right. Yeah, I agree. He says that is Daryl.
Yeah, so Daryl, I'd start Daryl and Myers.
And then last one, Mooney or Collins?
Booty.
Collins. With that. All righty. Here we go. Rapid fires. More total yards. Antonio Gibson or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's Tyreek. More receiving yards. Tyler Higbee or Evan Ingram?
Ingram.
Higbee. More I don't know if I can actually say this one. More passing yards. Davis Mills or Carson Wentz?
Wentz.
Ugh. Are either one of them get to triple digits? That's bad, man. That's bad. I guess Wentz. Sure. Why not? More rushing yards. Joe Mixon or DeAndre Swift?
Swift.
Mixon. Top scoring week 6 quarterback.
Mahomes.
Give me Stafford. Leader of the pack or top in his fields. More passing yards. Rodgers or Fields?
Rodgers.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Rodgers, as much as I hate to admit it. There. Over under 800 passing yards in Baltimore Chargers.
Under.
Under. Yeah, that's an under. That's 800's a lot, man.
It is. They both threw for 400 last week, so
I would say I could see 800 in like that Arizona Cleveland matchup, but I have a hard time seeing that with Baltimore, just because Baltimore just doesn't throw it that much.
right.
More receiving yards, DJ Moore or Justin Jefferson? That's a good one.
Jefferson.
More total yards, Kyler or Baker?
Kyler.
Yeah, Kyler. And he'll also steal an extra base. Top scoring week 6 running back.
I'm going to stick with Eckler.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. I'm gonna go. Ugh. Dalvin. Let's go Dalvin. Top running back in Raiders Denver.
Jacobs.
Oh yeah, speaking of major things that happened this week that I totally forgot about, Gruden's no longer in charge of the Raiders.
Yeah,
Monday. That's why it seems like it's so long ago.
it does seem a long time ago.
Do you think they make any type of like crazy change here at week 6? Do you think that they'll wait until bye week to make like any type of like offensive change?
No, I should think like to install a new offense.
I don't know. I don't even know who their offensive coordinator is that he'd be like, hey, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
hired
Gruden. The right answer to that question. But yeah, Gruden went bye-bye. And the special teams coach is the interim coach, which is usually what happens with those things in there. More fantasy points, Zeke or Damian Harris?
Zeke.
Top wide receiver in Seattle, Pittsburgh, which would have been way more entertaining if Russell was playing.
Deontay.
Claypool. Top scoring week 6 wide receiver.
Adams.
I want to say something crazy.
You think there was enough of a discrepancy
Brandon Cooks.
in one way or another, where they called it on the field was going to be.
Who isn't starting in any of my lineups, so that is pretty much guaranteed that he will go off. All right, more passing yards, Josh Allen or Ryan Tannehill?
Allen.
Top scoring week 6 tight end?
Ricky Seals-Jones.
I'm going to go Waller. Why not? And last question, favorite fall time meal. So you got to define this for me.
So something you like to eat in the fall when it's crispy outside.
Crispy? I don't know if it's a meal. I mean, fall, I always think apples, but I don't know if that's a meal.
Yeah, but like some people like chili. Me personally, I don't. Some people I don't like to eat roast in the summer, but I love roast in the fall and the winter.
Yeah, I hate pot roast. I ate too much as a kid. We had that like 4 days a week, and I'm like, no, I'm never eating that.
That's how I feel about hamburger helper.
See, we never ate that as a kid, so I think that's great. So I'll make that all the time as an adult. I don't know. Apple pie. I don't know. Like, I'm not a soup guy either. I know everybody's like crazy, like, ooh, the temperature's dropping. I got to make soup, got to eat soup. And I'm like, I want to eat my meal, not drink it.
Correct.
What about for you? What is your thing?
I like roast.
Roast?
Yeah. In the crock pot, though. We do Mississippi mud roast.
What makes that one different?
So it's butter, ranch seasoning, au jus seasoning, and then banana peppers in the crock pot.
Okay. Yeah,
Eat it with mashed taters.
Mashed taters. Yeah. Yeah, not a pot roast guy, like I said. Had it too much as a kid. Yeah.
This just happened in this game. And I understand, NFL players are really good at knowing the rules. However, at some point, somebody's going to have to understand,
You just ducked that.
Right. But at some point, that the players are going to have to realize that even if the ball hits the guy, you can't advance him off the punt. I guess he recovered it in the end zone, so maybe. But he didn't touch it.
No, that bounced right over him. Was it last week that we had the double punt, or was that the week before?
Last week in the Thursday night game.
Craziness. Never seen that before either. We are now just officially trying to kill the clock here because we've still got 5 minutes left to go in the show. We're out of
challenging. You can't even. I don't know that you can even challenge it.
Probably. Well, if they deemed it a scoring play, then it's automatically reviewed. Well, it should be change of possession. It's change of possession either way, so it should be automatically reviewed.
That's true. But it didn't touch him.
Yeah.
This is great analysis on our part. The one person who stuck with us, I assume this is Jordan Rangel.
Yes.
He's probably really enjoying our analysis of this football game.
I'm sure.
Whoever's still here, will you please comment that you're watching so we know who's dealing with our analysis here?
It's probably my wife.
Could be.
And she wouldn't know how to comment.
Your wife has a busy day today. Be nice to her.
I'm nice to her. All right.
Ooh.
What, do they show an angle where it might have touched him?
No, it just was really close. Oh, maybe he did touch that.
I don't think he did.
It kind of. Oh, it's Cousin Bo. Cousin Bo is still with us, dude. His finger kind of. Are we allowed to?
Go finger bending?
Are we allowed to show this on our show?
No, we are not.
All right. We'll take us home, Doug.
All right, so that'll do it. We want to thank our primary sponsor, Mobile Party Experience, because I forgot to thank them at the top of the show again. So somebody needs to remind me of that.
It's only in the bottom of our screen.
I know, but still, in the agreement, it says that I'm supposed to verbally announce them.
That's
so
true.
we want to thank Mobile Party Experience for being our primary sponsor this year. So for DJ, for the Ghost of Chris, I am Doug. We will see y'all next week.
Down by 3. The game is